Begin every video with a smile. Well, sometimes it's hard to smile, but we keep at it. I was trying to quote, I don't know, forgot his name off of Big Trouble in Little China when he was talking about finding a girl with green eyes. He says, "We've all tried, but we keep at it." What is it? It's not Egg Shan. It's not Egg Shan. It's James, who was the character. It was the actor. But the character is, it's going to come to me in a minute. I'll put it in the description below. But just one of my favorite movies by Kurt Russell. Probably my favorite, is Jack Burton, man. I just been watching that over the last couple of days. Just it's on YouTube somewhere hidden. You can watch it, the full movie without commercials. Well, I pay for the subscription, so I don't see commercials. And man, when I'm looking at other people's phone and they playing commercials, I'm like, what is this? It's been about 2 years since I've had that subscription. My friend John, he started it. And man, he said once you start, if you're on YouTube a lot, you're going to pay that money. You're going to pay it. And I mean, it goes towards the bigger deal because that's what keep these content creators still paid. Because if you watch their video, they give percentages based on how much you watch and stuff like that. So that's where the money's coming from. Advertisement, people who pay subscriptions to watch it without advertisement. So think about that, people. These people who pay for subscriptions, like O'Shea Duke Jackson, I basically watch you and Ralph Smart every day. Y'all probably getting $1 a month from me. Think about that. Think about that. So that being said, I got to be serious. Man, we're coming up on, it's less than 2 weeks. How many days? We're probably at 13 days before I fly from the United States to Ghana. So, that time is coming. That time is coming. A lot of things to get done before then. Yeah, man. I got to buy some more clothes. My wife is wanting a lot of stuff. I got to try to get that shipped here and get it ready for being packed because I can only take, I think, 2 large suitcases, then a suitcase on board. So, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, but its time is coming. So what is this video talking about other than me just rambling? So here it is. It's 3 minutes into the video. Don't you think it's, who says this? Don't you find it suspicious? Don't you find it suspicious? Don't you find it suspicious? Maybe that was Umar Johnson's whose meme quote said that, but that's what it sounds like. That you're starting to see the people from the 80s and 90s that helped to put women in these situations of so-called feminine empowerment, my body, my choice, out here trying to be what men are, being aggressive, being really unfeminine, not fit, feminine, friendly, but being more aggressive and so-called masculine or masculine energy, but not toxic masculinity. And basically what I'm saying is they're out here running the streets, in the immortal words of Future, they belong to the streets. And I find it interesting that these guys are now starting to come out and kind of talk about them and say, oh, these women are such and such. And I'm like, but it was your movies, your music that we all watched that led to this. It's like a porn star coming out talking about body count. And that is interesting because Joe Smith's, from Maryland, Joe Smith, #1 draft pick, I think 95, came out of Maryland. His wife is on OnlyFans, been on OnlyFans for like a year. And I didn't know she was a corn star before. You're not allowed to use certain words here. I didn't know that. I looked at her, she's older now, and I guess guys will still want to watch that. Maybe her old videos, but man, he married a corn star. So Very interesting. O'Shea Duke Jackson did a video on it today, and that's where I was like, it's interesting because you think about it now. It's like a lot of stuff that the mainstream media, and what I'm saying, part of the mainstream media is sports, as my friend Dave used to say, sex, sport, and play. It's always pushed these agendas and over sexualizing everybody. And now these women, I heard Megan Thee Stallion is supposed to get her OnlyFans page. She's going independent. She wants to pay her way to the top, and I'm thinking, what? But that agenda has been pushed since probably late 80s. And really, if you really want to push it, go back to the black exploitation movies as you look at them now, kind of with a whole different light if you really angle it differently. Just like, man, these people kind of being exploited. They're really kind of being exploited for their movie to get African Americans, people of color, to watch certain movies. And you look at Bill Cosby, how they took him down, man. That's like one of my favorite positive shows from the late 80s, early 90s is the Cosby Show. It's like when I think of a wholesome family, I'm thinking about, Cliff Huxtable, Felicia Rashad, Mrs. Huxtable. And I'm thinking, like, that was a pretty positive to a degree, a lot of it. Then you went into a different world. It's just interesting how these agendas have been pushed, and people say they're woke, but they've changed the word woke to really being asleep. They're sleepwalking, sleep woke. When you look at TV, I look at TV, I hear stuff totally different now. The songs, the music, what is the agenda? It's just like, what's playing in my head? It's like, what's the agenda? My mind is like, it doesn't want to go back to sleep. My body doesn't want to go back to sleep. I'm fighting my own little realities, but, it's like, this person used to push this kind of message, and now they're like, I guess their kids are grown and they're older, and they're like, well, I don't want you dealing with this type of person. But, man, you made a whole generation of those people. It's kind of interesting, man. It's conscious, woke, awake. What I'm saying? Knowledge. It's interesting. That's all I got to say. I mean, that was interesting. I was just looking at these different videos and just analyzing stuff as normal. Like, man, it's changed. It's changed. And I kind of want to know who else is seeing these things. Man, this whole another thing, talking about the Mandela effect. Like, people were talking about, the Berenstein Bears and, how it used to be spelled. It's like, that's not the Mandela effect, people. The Mandela effect is you are actually seeing stuff that you have watched in other timelines, and they're no longer in this timeline. You're not going to be able to go back and see the changes of the words. They're not in this timeline. The experiences people experiencing in this timeline or that other timeline, the things that were real, like, Nelson Mandela died in 82. Sinbad made a movie when I was a kid. I remember that movie. I remember them talking about Nelson Mandela's funeral back in the 80s. Different timelines. So that's another person I'm watching, Flair Burns. She's kind of breaking down. She's saying it's the programming. I don't know. Is this a big program? The universe itself can be a universal program, on a scale that we can't comprehend. My thing is, what is the purpose? What are we doing? You still got to exist. You still got to enjoy life. You still got to be positive. I think the whole distraction of what's going on in the so-called, war overseas is, the more you focus on it, the more you worry about it. focus about the economy, man. The economy is doing what it's doing. It's not even realistic to the stuff that's going on right now, the prices that things are. But it's universal all over the world, you know. I always said, is America going to allow itself to fall? You know, they say it's Babylon will fall. Is America Babylon? It's just so many questions, so many things I just really kind of analyze. But you cannot get caught up in the bull crap of it. It's all illusion in a sense. It's what your mind focuses on. And to help you with the stress of the world, ashwagandha, which is, this is an Indian, like ginseng, is an Indian herb. And the more I study up on it, it's interesting. You know, so keep the stress down. Your B12, your D3, you know, and help make those baby juice. All right, calm down. Look, I leave you with a smile. I wish everyone peace, health, and wealth. Until next time.